Hello everyone, welcome to Logo Learnings. So in this video, this is the part 2 of the nature and significance of management, chapter 1 of business studies class 12 NCRT textbook. So the first in the previous session we saw about the importance, characteristics, objectives and the meaning of management, and this is the part 2 of this chapter, and here we are going to look at the nature and nature of management. So there are mainly three natures, that is management as an art, management as a science and management as a profession. So in the first one, management as an art. So before knowing about management as an art, before comparing art with management, we must know what is an art. So what is an art? Art means it is something that can be seen virtually, or it is something that can be felt, which are the creative applications of human beings. So we apply something to create those art forms. For example, dancing is an art form, then singing is an art form, drawing, painting, then sculptures, etc. So there are both tangible and intangible art forms. So the features of art. So art is having a theoretical knowledge. So existence of theoretical knowledge. So coming to the theoretical knowledge means the body of knowledge is there. That means we have to know some basics. That means in case of drawing, we must know what all are the essentials of drawing, what all are the basic things that are required for drawing, how to start a drawing, what all are the techniques that can be used in drawing, which all types of drawing methods are there. We must know such theory base is there. In the case of dance also, how different postures are there, we must know about that, those postures. So we must know basics, we must understand the basics about it. In case of singing also, we must know several notes and its structure, and we must know different ragas are there, we must study those things, and everything are there. So that means there is a theory base for every form of art. So every form of art, there is a theory base. That's all about the theoretical knowledge. That means in the case of business studies, we are having a book like same like that, and art is also having a book that must be studied, a book or a theory base. Some examples of such theory bases are literature on dancing, then public speaking, acting or music, and other widely recognized forms. So we must understand those basic principles or that theory, then only we can apply it in the art form and make it, or that forms the art. So that's all about the theoretical knowledge. Then the second feature of art is personalized application. So the personalized application means it depends upon the persons, or depends upon each person. That means if two people are there, for example, two students are there, Rahul and Anita. So both of them are studying in the same class for the same time period, but Anita was performing, so in a dance class, imagine it is a dance class. So Anita was performing better than Rahul. That means both of them studied the same base, the same theory under the same teacher, but both of them, the form of dance or the way in which they present that dance form differs. That means Anita is performing better than Rahul. It is based on the persons. So it depends upon the persons or individuals and their creativity, their skills, their way of applying those theories. So it differs from one person to another. It is not necessary that everyone plays equally. So Anita is better than Rahul, so Rahul can also become better, or can also become as Anita, as good as Anita in the dance form, if he does a practice, if he is having good practice, and if he increases his creativity. So that is the third point, based on practice and creativity. So Anita is practicing daily, she is hardworking, and she is using her creativity. So she know the basics, the theoretical knowledge. She is having the theoretical knowledge, and she is using it very creatively, or she is using her skills very creatively and very improved, in very improved manner. So that's why she is able to improve or enhance her dance, or enhance her art than Rahul. So Rahul can also develop and improve his art form or his dance by through the ways of practice and creativity. So that's about the features of art. Now we are going to compare these features of art with the features of management. So in the case of management, look at the first feature of art. So art is having a theoretical knowledge. So management is of course having a theoretical knowledge or a theory base. So we are having several courses, then several books. So that is the theory of management. Management is having principles, and a person becomes a manager of the management based on study, observation, and experience. So he is having a lot of literature available in various areas of management, and in the example. So examples are marketing, then finance and human resources, and so on. So he refers all those things, and he is becoming a manager, or he is running a management. So there is a proper theory base, or a body of knowledge, or a theoretical knowledge is there for management. The second one is personalized application. Is it true? Yes, management is also having personalized application. So, if in the case of the same example, we can take, I will say another names such as Rohit and Mohan are two people, and they are running, they are two managers. So, it is not saying that it is not always compulsory that both of them manages equally. So both of them are using their own skills and their own creativity to run their management. So sometimes Rohit might be a good manager than Mohan. So he might be very creative, and he is running the management very enthusiastic, or he is doing everything very correctly, and his vision is very good and very creative. But Mohan will not be that enhanced. So both of them are having theoretical knowledge, but it depends upon the individuals. It depends upon the creativity, practice, and theoretical knowledge of different individuals. So the management varies from one person to another. So sometimes a person with higher degree might not be that much good at management like a person with lower degree. So sometimes a person with just one degree will be good at management, because he uses his creativity and skill in management. He might be very efficient. So he is very efficient. So we saw in the previous session what is effectiveness and efficiency in the terms of management. So effectiveness means the end result, and efficiency means the optimal utilization of resources at a minimum cost. So he must be efficient in management. So that means it differs. The management differs from one person to another. There is personal application. Then the third one is practice and creativity. So I have also told that it depends upon the practice and creativity of a person. So practice is very important. So he practices. If a person with a high experience will be good at management, and he uses his creativity and skill based on the theoretical knowledge that he has. So it enhances or improves the management. So a person who is having less practice can improve his management through practice, and he can increase or develop his creativity and use it in his management to enhance his management. So we saw that all the three features of art is same and equal, can be is applicable in management too. That means we can end up with a conclusion that, hence we can conclude that management is a pure art. So management is a pure art. That means pure art means it is exactly like art. There is no difference in management with an art. So we can consider management also as an art form, because it is a pure art, because all the features are satisfying with each other. So we saw management is a pure art. So we have finished one part of the nature of management. Now going to the second part, that is management is a science. So now we can look, or we can check whether the management is a pure science or is an exact science or not. So first of all, we can look at the features of science. Here, the first feature is systematized body of knowledge. So that means theoretical knowledge itself. There is a theory base or a body of knowledge for what science, like textbooks. So physics is having certain theory base, chemistry, biology, everything is having some theory basis. So that is not known as body of knowledge. There is a book that is having something. So there is a theory, there are basic principles and the theory for science. Then the second point is principles based on experiment. So the principles are based on experimentation. So experimentation, so Experiments. So, in science, we know that there are several experiments using acids, bases, and so on. So, such experiments, so principles, so the people end up, or the scientists end up to a principle or to a conclusion through experiments or experimentation. They developed through. So, these are developed through observation and then tested through repeated experimentation and finally reach a conclusion. That is the principle. Then the next one is a universal validity. Universal validity means everywhere it is acceptable. In case of gravity, in India and in other countries, the gravity is same. So the principle of gravity is same. There is no difference on Earth. So it is universally valid. So everyone in every country, in every nation, gravity is same. There is no difference. So it is universally accepted or valid. So and now we are going to compare. So we saw the features of science. Now we are going to compare it with management. So in the case of management, science. So first feature is systematized body of knowledge. So management is also having a body of knowledge or a theory base, as we have seen in the case of art. Then the second one is principles are based on experiments of management. In management also the principles are based on experiment, but it is not completely based on experiment. So we know that human beings are having a human behavior. So the behavior of human beings means it is always changing. We cannot predict a person's behavior. Or even if we conclude, if we look at to management and making an experiment, that means we are just comparing to management and reaching to a conclusion. Even if we conclude, there are every humans are having separate individual characters and behaviors, so we cannot end up with a proper principle because it cannot be applicable. Everyone are having different ways of thinking, different ways of attitudes and creativity. So we cannot end up with a correct principle. So because human beings are involved, that's the reason why science is considered as an inexact science or a social science or a behavioral science, because human beings are present in management. In case of science, we are using just acid bases and something like that, but in the case of management, we are not using like that. We are using human beings. So it is we cannot predict a proper principle, or we cannot predict what can happen in the next year. So or will the principle will be applicable throughout the year, and it is also changing. The next one is universally applicable. Universally applicable means it is changing always, it is changing. So the universally it is not valid, because it is valid, but according to the nature and the situations in different countries, the way of management or the process of management will also change. So the first point is exactly matching. The second point and third point is almost matching, but it is not exactly matching. That's the reason why management is not a pure science, but management is an inexact science, a social science, or a behavioral science, because human beings are there. So coming to the next one, that is next nature, that is management as a profession. So let us look whether management is a proper profession or a pure profession or not. So first of all, we can look at the features of a profession. So profession is a well-defined body of knowledge. That means the same thing, theoretical base is there. Then the next one is restricted entry. Only a few people. So for the entry in a profession, we must be a member of some association, professional association or a body. Then only we can become a profession. We can choose a profession. Then a professional association, that means in the case of a lawyer, there is Bar Council of India, so he must be a member of Bar Council of India. So like that, there are many professional associations. Then ethical code of conduct, then that means there is a basic principles and theories that must be followed by a profession or by a professional. Then the next one is service motive. So in the case of a doctor, so doctor is a profession. So doctor is a profession. So he must have he is having rather than getting the salary, he is having a service motive. That means he is serving his patients. That is his duty, and he is serving. So there is a service, so they are serving the society, so that is service motive. So that's all about the features of profession. Now coming to the comparison, so we are comparing a profession with management. So in the case of first one, there is a theory base for management too, or a body of knowledge is there in management too. Then in the second case, so we can look at the second case towards the end. In the case of third case, professional association. So it is not always compulsory that a person must be a member of a professional association to become a manager or to be a member of the management. So it is applicable, but not fully. So it is not fully applicable in the case of management. Then in the case of ethical code of conduct, so management is also having a certain rules and regulations, are having certain rules and regulations and code of conduct. That means certain principles on the basis of which the manager has to work, or the management runs. Then it is also having service motive. Even if the management is having certain other common goals or objectives, such as profits or something, it is also having another part of service motive. It is providing several, in the case of supplying of goods, it is supplying goods, a company is supplying goods to the or it is making it available, certain goods available to the ultimate customer. So that is a sort of a service. So but in the case of second feature, that is restricted entry, there is no restriction in the case of management. So we know that there is no compulsory, it is not compulsory that we must be a member of the professional association or so. So it is and the number of degrees also, it depends upon management. Even if degrees or the courses are required, we must have basic knowledge and skill to manage. So that is also one of the important matter. So as all the features are not similar or are not matching to the features of management, so we can say that the management is just a profession and not a pure profession. So there are some points to remember in the slide. Management is a pure art. That means all the features are matching in art and management. Then in the case of science, just a few are it is not always universally valid. It is also having a body of knowledge, so it is not considered as an exact science, it is an inexact science or a social science or behavioral science. And in the case of profession, there is no restriction in the entry for management, and professional knowledge and training is considered to be the desirable qualifications. And so as a result, it is not a pure profession, but it is management is a just a profession. So that's all about this session. So we have seen about the nature of management, the three major natures of management. So I hope this video is very helpful for you, and please do subscribe my channel if you have felt it useful, and like my video, and press the bell icon near the subscribe button so that you get notified whenever I upload a video. So thanks for watching. Have a nice day.